The path to a positive mindset often involves shattering illusions we hold dear. It is through facing our fears and embracing the struggles that we find the strength to move forward. By doing so, we uncover the lessons learned from our past and use them as a catalyst for change. The path we tread is laden with illusions within a giant maze of deception. These illusions, like mirages in the desert, offer a false sense of comfort and direction, but also they are waypoints on our journey. Within these illusions lie lessons we can learn from reality. We're evaluated to grow and strengthen internally and seek feelings of better value. Each illusion presents an opportunity to strengthen our discernment, to develop the wisdom to differentiate between the true and the false. In doing so, we cultivate resilience and adaptability. Like a ship navigating uncharted seas, we learn to adjust our sails, using each illusion as a guidepost to correct our course. The troubles and trials we face are but teachers in disguise, offering us a chance to rise above our limitations and discover our true nature. It is through this process of realization, debunking, and transmutation that we find our true north, a compass that guides us toward our highest potential. The allure of hate is a deceptive one, a siren song that promises freedom but only ever leads to
A momentary shimmer at the edge of awareness, barely perceptible but undeniably present. The human body, this intricate vessel, this living constellation of fibers and fluids, lights and currents, is a universe unto itself, one that senses the infinite while remaining tethered to the finite. I often wonder, are we the experiencer or merely the instrument played by experience itself, light? It is the first thing I feel when I try to sit with this question. Not just the light that illuminates rooms or casts shadows, but the light that floods through us, the light the skin feels, the bones absorb, the cells respond to without conscious consent. It paints us with warmth or draws us into darkness, yet it offers no resistance. Have you ever considered how skin knows whether sunlight is caressing or scalding it, or how your pupils flex and constrict like tiny worshippers in the temple of the cosmos? The duality of light and dark is where perception begins, a place where our existence flickers into definition. But light alone cannot sustain understanding. There is heat and cold, tangible contrasts that bind us more tightly to the physical. The warming embrace of fire coexists with the dispassionate bite of ice, like two extremes engaged in an eternal dialogue. And yet the sensations are never in isolation. Think about it, warm skin brushed by a cold breeze. It's neither fully one nor the other. The body becomes a canvas for a gradient, emerging, reminding us that edges blur. What do we name the in-between? Then there's pressure, the subtle yielding of flesh under weight, or the electric whisper of a feather that barely grazes skin. Hardness and softness speak to us endlessly through touch, words forming in a silent language. They map the contours of our world, each crevice, each flaw, each line imbued with its own weight of meaning. A handshake, firm or hesitant, transmits an entire symphony of intent without a single word. What is this peculiar magic of tactile understanding? Taste. Sweet and bitter, compliments and nemeses locked in their eternal dance. A sip of honeyed tea blurs into the sharpness of grapefruit zest. The tongue is an oracle, revealing truths about what nourishes and what poisons. And smell. Oh, smell. Latching onto memories like a determined archivist. The scent of cut grass flings you into childhood summers, while the musk of a lover's skin stitches itself into longing, into yearning. Each inhalation is a journey through time, layers of life folded neatly into one another. And sound, vibration wrapped in meaning, bounded by a fragile range of 20 to 20,000 hertz. Frequencies we cannot hear nonetheless ripple around and through us. Isn't it curious that the bass hum of thunder and the fragile tinkling of a wind chime occupy the same medium, yet feel so vastly different? From tinnitus' relentless trill to the melody that ignites your spirit, sound sculpts your reality. It nests in silence just as surely as shadows sleep within light. But here's the paradox. Even with all these threads of sensation weaving reality, what we experience remains curiously incomplete, filtered, edited, chosen. Each of us wears a veil over our awareness, a screen through which our senses display their curated exhibitions. The Egyptians called this veil Isis, the goddess of creation, for she is the architect of perception, the divine weaver of the scape through which we see. The veil does not fall accidentally. It is drawn across the mind as a boundary, a protector, and perhaps an illusionist. Trauma tears holes in this veil, doesn't it? Sharp rips. Jagged wounds that let too much in or block too much out. The heart recognizes the fracture before the mind does, beating faster to signal a state of emergency. Traumas are moments too sharply focused, too densely charged. Reality crystallizes into a shard of glass that cuts every time it's touched. Exceptional joy, too, leaves a different burn. A flashbulb, a popping of color and brilliance that lingers in memory's afterimage. Such polarized emotions, pain and ecstasy, snatch moments out of the stream and suspend them forever. They defy the neutrality of passing time, pulling us closer into the breathing heart of now. There's an ache to existence, isn't there? A constant striving to feel and understand through a medium so limited, so partial. You're never quite sure where your senses end and your beliefs begin, for perception itself is a mutiny of filters, layered upon filters. Does the hand feel the rock, or does the mind translate some story about texture and weight? Does the eye see the sunset, or is it the heart that bathes in the golds and blushes of dusk? The mind constructs, deconstructs, projects. Reality is not what is seen, but what is agreed upon, shared, perpetuated, and tickled awake by sensation. Perhaps every receptor is both a shackle and a liberation. Touch tethers you to the tangible, yet it also lets you marvel at the vibration of silk. Sight traps you in phenomena, and yet it floods your soul with color. What would it mean to see through the veil instead of with it? Perhaps to sense is not to truly know, but to glimpse, to dance at the edge of knowing. Even now, you're sensing. Reading these words, your eyes absorb the light of their shape. Neural signals fire, translating symbols into meaning. Your breath shifts as my thoughts merge with yours, somewhere in this liminal tether we've built between writer and reader. Are you thinking about your body now? Is your tongue humming with unrealized tastes? Are your fingers light-tinged, sensitive to the faint pulse of the air? Reality flickers on the edge of perception. Every sense collides, folds, overlaps, and for a moment paints a seamless illusion. The now. Somewhere in the midst of this tempest of sensation sits you, or at least the version of you pieced together through this dense, intricate dance. And so we live, bound yet free, veiled yet striving to see, sensing, endlessly sensing, ever orbiting the edge of something far greater than we can touch.
Phoenix flame, you heard the name, change the game. Embody change, embody change, embody change, embody change. Change the fame, change the fame, change the fame, change the game. Phoenix flame, Phoenix flame, Phoenix flame, Phoenix flame, you heard the name, body change. Phoenix flame, Phoenix flame, Phoenix flame, Phoenix flame, you heard the name, change the fame. Embody change, embody change, embody change, embody change. Change the game, face the game, change the day, change the